Well, you know what's really funny? The story of my life is that question. So when I first wrote an unsolicited proposal to the NSF back in the early 80s to establish a National Supercomputer Center for Universities, everybody thought I was crazy because all the scientists were running on VAX computers, and they were just happy. And they said, you know, you'd ask the scientist, you know, do you have any problems that you can't solve that, you know, 100 times faster computer would solve? They said, nope, we're good. Same thing with these networks, right? I go in and say, you want something 1,000 times faster? And they say, you're crazy. Nobody could ever keep it filled. What would you ever do with it? So this failure of imagination, in spite of knowing for sure we're going to get there from looking at the exponentials, is the fundamental failure mode of human beings. We're doing it right now with climate change, right? I mean, I can show you exactly what the numbers tell us is going to happen, and it is going to be horrifying. It is going to disrupt all human civilization on Earth simultaneously over the next several decades. And yet we're blindly going ahead, adding more and more greenhouse gases to the atmosphere in spite of knowing, right? So it's this fundamental failure to be able to imagine the future as it's really going to be. And I think Ray's biggest contribution has been to be a storyteller about possible futures that are actually driven by the exponentials. And that's why I've always thought science fiction was, I've read science fiction since I was a kid. It's really helped me as a scientist to unfreeze the prejudice that we get as scientists and the way science is actually done. We could have a long talk about that.